It's while you're here that you decide to talk about various things that happened and various things that you almost like need to complete and investigate. And just to summarize them briefly for you, you still do not know who the ghostly figure was that you found talking to the goblins. Secondly, you don't know who the goblins are. Although they seem to be in the control of the ghostly figure, you don't know where they've come from. And as Bartleby originally said, it's very strange that they're out and about, since there are tales, they originate from tales of to scare children. You also, if you remember, there was a point that you didn't know whether or not to go back to the farm where you think the old man, which you found the wagon of, was that. And there's also the mystery of Ubin Falls. You don't know what was there or what was going to happen there at all. And fifthly, you have no idea why the goblins attacked, well, you might have, but why the goblins attacked the caravan, or why the caravan took itself off the road and went to something completely different. And the other thing that you have, which Gully, you have the seed, which is quite safely packed away somewhere. But the other thing that you do have is the map, the mysterious note, if you remember. You should be able to see it on the screen now. And you shared this with Aaron, who hasn't seen it before. And it is this that you are talking about, having a look at it on the table in the secluded corner of the hairy goblin. It is this that you are talking about when we start today's adventure. So first things first, you know where you've got it from. Anybody in character have any idea what it's all about?
Is it? It shows a place in Lindowe, doesn't it?
Well, that it does, Gary. It didn't look like it was on one of the main streets, though, from how I recollect it.
I think we worked out. I think Bartleby knew that it was in the slum area. What I still don't understand is why it says two Twin Moon rather than Twin Moon.
Could be the name of an inn or tavern like this one, but in the slums.
Could be. Do you know of any inns or taverns, Bartleby, called Two Twin Moon?
You're muted, Bartleby.
You're muted, Mr. Pickles.
My bad. I said I don't frequently go to many taverns beyond our weekly meeting here.
You can, if you wish, you can roll a locale for me.
I think I might have seen one when I wandered through the poor districts to cure diseases.
You have, like you just mentioned there, you have spent some time in the slum curing and helping the sick and needy. However, in that area, it tends to be more accommodation and small shops of some description. As far as you're aware, there's no taverns or anything that bears the name of Two Twin Moon. That was a good roll.
Perhaps it's a secret society of some kind, one that doesn't fully understand that you could just talk about the Twin Moons.
Well, I mean, we are in Lindowe, and we can just go there and see what it says. See whether or not we can find a shop called the Two Twin Moon or a tavern called the Two Twin Moons.
There could be a solid plan there, Gutty. I'm more than happy to go if everyone else is. Seems the next logical step.
Is there any way that we can determine like where in that district of town this is? Because I don't see anything other than rooftops.
Yeah, no one actually knows the ins and outs of the slums from your party. Nobody has actually been there at all. However, it's while you're sort of like thinking about that and sort of like talking about it that Basil, the earless tavern owner, comes over to you and brings over your series of beer and cheese and meat, etc., and a bit of a bone for Juno. I don't know, it's probably off a local cattle, because you don't want lamb bones because they splinter something nasty in dogs' mouths. And he sort of like passes a casual gaze over the map, and he says to you, he says, if it's maps you're interested in, then there's no one better than Sylvester McHoon's. He's well known for the maps of all over the country. And you're lucky, his actual shop, his scribe shop, is actually in Lindowe.
Whereabouts is it, Basil?
He gives you some...
Can you give us directions?
He gives you general directions. He sort of like says, I wouldn't go there at this time of the night, though. He's probably in bed.
Is he a friend of yours, Basil?
Sylvester?
Yeah. Can we mention your name and maybe he'll do us a good deal on a map?
To be honest, young lad, I don't think Sylvester's a friend of anyone.
Oh.
Grumpy old man he is.
Perhaps we will soften his heart.
Well,
Friendship.
maybe if your coin pouch is big enough.
No, it's not.
That sounds suggestive.
Basil, did Lady Miko leave anything in her room when she left?
No, she cleared it out.
And had she paid a tab?
Yep. Lady Miko doesn't have a tab.
Oh.
It is an honour to have Lady Miko stay here. An honour. Which may be the same as you guys eventually, if your adventuring prowess actually reaches the height of renown of Lady Miko.
Do you know a lot about the other taverns in Lindowe, Basil? Do you know whether or not there's one that's called the Two Twin Moon Tavern?
No. The only Twin Moon stuff I know is that Poncy Church one.
Poncy Church.
Yeah, you know, where the holy people go.
Forgive me, Basil, but what does Poncy mean?
You know, almost like not on this earth, not sort of like understanding the normal everyday life. You know,
Oh, gotcha.
there's some
Like not
hard,
understanding that.
there's some hard-working people in this world.
I'm a member of an order now.
Congratulations, goalie.
Thank you.
Did we ever celebrate that here at the tavern?
Well, we could have extra cheese. I don't actually drink.
Well, extra cheese for the celebration of his new order. I want to push a couple silver coins towards Basil.
Yeah, and he brings you almost like half of one of those big round ones, and a couple of knives, and some extra bread, and some water and mead. Water for the holy people and mead for the less holy people. Just while you're stood there, somebody appears next to your table. And he sort of like comes over and he sort of like leans over and he says, excuse me, fair adventurers, you might remember me.
Gully will push the cheese to one side, just away from this guy. Do we recognise him?
Yes, you do. You do know him.
Angus turns and say, "Forgive me, I do not remember your name, but yes, you were one of the merchants who asked us to go and find the missing caravan, were you not?"
That is right. Martin is my name with a Y. I wonder, I noticed you were back in town, and I wondered, is the barbarian with you?
Angus half smiles and goes, he did not seem to return, although I left earlier, as you know, to report what we and bring back escort and report what we found, the caravan, and report back what we found.
Yes,
so I do not know his exact fate.
I was hoping
he didn't come back.
I was hoping that he might have returned with everybody else.
He seems not. Gulliver and Bartleby might be able to give you a full account of what happened better than I.
I just want to shoot a quick look at Goalie.
I was just hoping that he would have returned with you. I wondered whether or not we might celebrate together.
I'm sure he would have done if he could have done, but he didn't do.
Well, if you do see him again, please let him know that Martin with a Y, the merchant, is keen to meet up with him again.
Yes, of course, Martin. If we ever see Dominic again, we'll pass on your message.
Oh, so kind of you. And he toddles off to find himself a table by himself over here.
Oh, we could have invited him to consume cheese with us, guys.
Yeah, you're going to be known as the Cheese Brigade, I've decided.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all.
I stand up for Goalie's addiction.
Yeah.
We could get him drunk and see whether or not we
I don't want to know what
caravan.
you. No, sorry. I don't want to know what you would do after you've got Martin drunk, please. Thank you.
We could find out about the caravans.
Well, I guess we're not inviting him over here. He's just gonna. Anyways, we were talking about things before Martin interrupted us. We should probably go and see if we can find this location in Lindowe.
Well, I think the thing to do is tomorrow is to go and see this Sylvester person who does the maps, and if we show him the map, then maybe he can tell us where exactly it is and give us directions to it.
Yes, that's right.
And then we can just go and have a look at the area, and just see whether or not anything takes our fancy. Like if we see something called Twin Moon or something like that.
Okay,
what do you think?
Sounds like a plan to me, Goalie.
But it does, yes. We could even.
The other thing that we need to decide to do with is the seed.
We do, but I do not think it is good.
My bed.
I do not think this is the time nor place to talk about it. Maybe later, not in the open common room.
Yeah, guys, maybe we should just talk about this somewhere safer, like the church or something.
I think.
Whisper.
I think we're sorted. I think that's a plan.
Okay,
Does Martin meet up with anybody?
No, he's just sort of like sat on the end of a table, and there's various commoners on his table, and every now and then he smiles and almost like pretends that he's involved in the discussion, but obviously he's almost like that person that can't ever sit with the trendy guys, the jocks, I think they're called at school, and sort of like sits out on their side. And even though they say, "Oh yeah, come and join us," they're never really included. And after a while, he just sort of like gathers up his robes and leaves, and nobody on the table actually notices he's gone and at all. And they just sort of like carry on their laughter. And you know, one minute you look, and the next minute he's just sort of like gone. Hengist, I am aware that there is somebody sat opposite you that you do not know who.
Well, we've seen each other in the last few weeks, but we've not actually really spoken very much to each other.
I hate it when that happens.
He is not naked at the moment, just so everybody's aware.
Oh, that's right.
He is in fur and hide armor and clothes. Just so you're not
Gully will make the introductions. Gully will say, Hengist, this is Evan. We found him at a camp that was full of bandits, and his dog, which is really nice.
Hengist will, when first introduced, he'll sort of like raise his tankard up and sort of like in a gesturing motion to a greeting to the newcomer.
Aaron, I believe size and strength are heightened stats of it, so he's probably a pretty big dude. Plus wielding a gray hammer around. I'm gonna assume so. Pretty big guy, but he seems like a gentle giant from everything you've like I said, when he was out training, he was doing like peaceful, like tranquil motions and stuff. And so from what you know, that's kind of the vibe that you get from him. So he'll grab his tankard and he'll kind of raise and kind of nod to you with a coy smile before he takes a nice sip. It's a pleasure to meet you, Hengist.
Likewise.
I believe you are a regular friend of these gentlemen.
I have known Gully for some months now. We travelled from the same land over the sea together in the same ship with, and then we've done a few sort of adventuring bits around here in Lindowe.
I drove the boat when we came over.
He did. He did very much so. Yeah, he tied himself to the wheel of the ship and sailed it through the storm.
Wow. That is fancy. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I've already met you guys, but again, I appreciate you allowing me to sit at your table and drink.
Yes, you're more than welcome. I've seen you training around the back of the tavern. You look like you're quite a handy chap with your hammer and your chain. Although I was a little bit confused about the weird dance that you seem to be doing in between times, but I assume it is something to do with how you fight.
When one uses strength and size in combat, one must also have balance, or else you push yourself too far, your enemy can use that balance against you, strength against you. And so the way of my people have trained me to maintain that balance, maintain that poise, that posture. And it is almost like a dance. Any kind of combat that you get into is like a dance. I'm sure that most of you may agree.
I do, definitely. I myself fight in a slightly different way to you, but yes, I agree that it is very much a similar sort of thing, trying to maintain balance whilst forcing your opponent off balance and then exploiting any openings that arise from that.
Aye.
I just tried to stab them with my knife.
I was just.
English is going to half smile with that, pat Gully on the shoulder and say, "I know, chap. I know that."
I was just thinking when you were mentioning dances, I just wish I was quick enough to play Agadoo. I don't know whether
or the dirty dancing.
I think your way of fighting. Last time I saw you fight, Hengist, was to bash a goblin to death when it was trying to.
Well,
yeah. If I remember correctly, yeah.
But he did so in a balanced way. He was balanced. Yeah, he maintained his balance.
You were balanced,
balance.
extremely well.
I imagined it to be that little thing from Harry Potter. I don't even know what it's called, but I can remember that it was sort of like a little goblin thing that used to go.
Dobby the house elf.
Oh, I thought you meant the thing that they pulled out the plant pot.
No, no.
Okay, so as you can see, the plate in front of you is somewhat empty of cheese now, and so you decide.
Gully ate all of it.
Gully sort of like got cheese hype now, and he's sort of like hungover from cheese and dairy products. And you head off to bed in your normal rooms, and you agree to meet downstairs in the early morning to head off to find and have a chat with Sylvester McHoon, who owns, as Basil tells you in the morning, what appears to be a cartographer. He's Basil describes him as a cartographer and a scribe. He seems to do illuminations. He writes things out. He used to, Basil says, go on long walks around the continent of Odes, mapping things out. But it's quite a while since he's actually done anything like that, and he often keeps himself to himself in his shop. Although people are encouraged to go and buy things, and he will write things out for people who do not have the skill. But apart from that, he almost like keeps himself to himself. So you set off through the streets of Lindowe, which are quite busy at this time of the year. It's not freezing, but it's still in winter, so it's not freezing cold, but it's not mild, so you are wrapped up in your cloaks. And is Juno tethered at this point, Aaron, or does she just walk by your side?
She just walk with me.
Okay, and you guys, you know, it's normal practice to walk around with weapons. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people have their weapons out, and even a show of, for the, just so you show to the gutter snipes, don't mess with me because you will get this. And Gulliver, you seem to have quite a lot of respect as you go around, and you see the blue-clad bluebirds, they're called, which are the messengers from the Blue Order, the Order of the Kraken, running around delivering messages here, then, everywhere. Basically, the bluebirds are almost like a message system, because a lot of people can't write, as you know, within your own group. So you can tell the bluebird messages, and they run it to the next person where it's going and say the message rather than writing it down. You can write it down as well. So as you walk down the streets, there's a lot of hustle and bustle, but Gulliver, people almost like tend to respect you a little bit more, and you notice them casually looking at your lapel and the colour of your the material behind it, and you sort of like march through the streets, and you eventually get to Sylvester McHoon's shop, which has a window which is dirty and has some kind of showcase items in, but it's mostly old parchments and quills and dirty inks, and there's nobody sort of like outside, or there's nobody rushing in, and it has one of those flipping shop signs that is just a massive ink pot with a quill sticking out of it, and it just sort of like says McHoon's Scribes, and that's what it says on it, and it's quite battered and not very good. And you sort of like build up your courage and open the door, and you find what appears to be sat on a big table at the back, this person. Can you see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you can see he seems to have some kind of armor in his back on the background, and what appears to be a huge heavy crossbow stuck up, and he has a large, or rather large, container, what you assume is full of wine, and he's busy scribing away. And as you go in, there's definitely this smell of mustiness and not decay. It's just sort of like things not being used and not being engaged with, and the air is musty, as if there's not been any fresh air in this place for a long time.
Is there anything up on the walls? Is there like
there's just racks, and the racks just have scrolls stuck into it, so they're more like square containers with racks stuck with scrolls stuck into them. So it's not like a bookshelf. It's just racks and racks, and some of them there are tomes down at the bottom, and you can see them to the left of the picture there. They're not sort of like normal books. They're giant tomes that seem to have metal bindings on them, and it's just sort of like there's loads of them that's stuck, and the majority of them have dust covering them and everything like that. And you can see that the only light from here is the light from the window or the light from the candles. And he also sees, you could probably see, it has like a pot of what appears to be sweet smelling incense wafting across the room.
You said that the windows were dirty. Is the inside of the shop sort of like dusty and?
Very much so. You wouldn't say it's. You wouldn't say that he uses this a lot. You don't think lots of people come in here. It just seems to be something that is not used a lot, and he's just sat there with this giant quill of a pen, scratching runes into a piece of dried parchment.
Gulliver's going to start having a look at these scrolls that are stuck in these sort of like pigeonholes and see whether or not there's any form of markings on them.
Yeah, well, as soon as you go near them, he doesn't even look up. He just says, "Get away from them! Stand by the door!"
Gulliver would put his hands down and take a couple of steps back towards the door.
After which Angus will go, "Good morning, good sir. We were wondering..."
What is good about this morning?
Well, the sun is out, for one. We are here for...
And why the sun being out would be anything good? It only means that I have to put more dirt on my windows to stop the bloody thing pouring in sunlight and spoiling my parchments.
It's better than rain, and your parchment's getting wet, I suppose.
Why would my parchments get wet in my house and my shop? Are you insinuating that my shop is not waterproof?
Not at all, good sir. I mean, you mean when you have other customers coming in who are wet and bedraggled from the rain and creating puddles.
I suggest, Tin Man, that you keep your attention on your weapon and sword rather than engaging with intelligent matters such as scribing.
I will take your words of wisdom to heart, good sir.
You would do well to do that.
However, there is a matter that we would like to bring to your attention if you have the time.
Believe me, there is probably no matter that I would want to deal with you with.
Hengist will just sort of ignore that and very carefully walk towards Sylvester and then produce the map and be like, "We have in our travels we've come across this."
Please stand away. The smell of your weapon oil insults my nostrils.
To which Angus will sort of like carefully put the map open on the desk, but away from the candles and the incense, and then he'll take a couple of steps back.
Sylvester just carries on going. All you hear is as he scribes away.
And as he takes the step back, he very carefully sort of like knocks the pouch of silver coins, quite accidentally, so they jingle a little bit at his waist. And so as he does so, he lets the sound sort of like be heard in the shop and pauses for a few moments before saying, "We were hoping you would be able to help us identify what part of Lindowe is on this map."
Yeah, by all means, roll your influence skill.
Oh no.
Oh god. I'm going to use my luck point to re-roll that. No.
Why are you rattling your silver pieces at me? Is this somewhat of a proposition?
I would never do something so bold, sir. I must have merely knocked it by mistake. But as you bring up the idea of a proposition,
You talk as if you were born with a somewhat silver ladle in your mouth.
That is true.
A ladle that was probably quite big.
Angus will just half smirk, ignore that comment, and say, "We would of course compensate you for your time."
Time?
In
For
answering
what?
in helping us identify the area of Lindowe. We believe it is Lindowe that is displayed on this map.
I have seen many maps in my time. Is this one of my maps?
I don't think it is.
Who is your servant?
This isn't a servant. This is Master Gully, who is
Gully, as in something
our...
where the water runs down after a wet, rainy day.
No. My proper name's Gulliver, and I'm in the Order of the Kraken.
And you talk like a woman.
What? I wanna try rolling influence.
At least I don't smell like a musty book.
I want to lean up or go up to Hangus and bump into him, intentionally bumping his coin bag again, but saying,
"Can I just? We are talking about a coin bag here.
We are talking about Hangus's. Full of silver coins.
I want to jingle his coin bag next.
My dexterity's not great, so whatever happens.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure coins jingle and say to Hangus,
it is dark. I mean, one bag looks like another.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but Hangus is actually wearing clothes and armor. So,
Hangus, I'm afraid this guy, he's just not skilled enough to read this. No.
You were right.
You think I am not skilled enough to read it?
Yes.
And what do you base your primitive assumption on?
Your inability to read this.
Cast around. Have a look at my shop. I have scrolls and maps that were, quite frankly, drawn and created before you were born.
I think if you could read it, then you would have read it, because it would be a way to make easy money, and everybody needs money nowadays, but you obviously can't read it, otherwise you would have done to get the money.
And Hangus will take a half step forwards.
Gulliver, roll your perception. You'll roll your influence.
As Gully says that, Hangus. Well, no, that's right. That's fine.
Your persuasive powers in this group are somewhat lacking.
Hang on, I'm going to use a luck point to re-roll it.
Despite the other people's persuasive powers being somewhat lacking, young girl, I'm probably willing to take
I'm
your...
not a girl!
Wearing men's clothes does not make you a man. For for the first time, he sort of like looks up, and from underneath his cowl, and you can see that he's got these little round glasses on, and his beard, although it looks white in the picture, has probably got a whole load of food gathered in it and ink blots, and he actually looks like his little ends of his braids, he's actually been used as blotting paper while he's been writing, and round his lips you can see the dark red of red wine, and he sort of like looks up and he looks at you, Gulliver, and says, "Ha! Ah, the Blue Order. Why is it always the Blue Order? Why can't it never be something else?"
I think the Blue Order's the best.
And he reaches over and he starts to look at your map, and he sort of like puts his quill down in an ink, and he sort of like looks really closely at it. And
Gulliver's going to get close up to the desk, sort of like edging his way forward and start leaning over as well.
It's quite a big, wide desk, so now that it's over by him, you can stand at the edge, but you can't get anywhere close to it. And he's sort of like, he's got his head bound over it again. He goes, "You mentioned money."
Hengist will take his purse out of off his belt.
So how much would it be to tell us whereabouts in Lindowe this is?
"I'm prepared to strike a bargain with you, young lady. I am willing to present information in exchange for this map."
You want the map? Or you want money?
"Of course, it's not a very good map. It's not a very good map at all. But I haven't got a map of the slums, so I am willing to exchange information or coinage for the map."
Can you copy the map for us?
"Why would you want it copying?"
It's our map.
So that we have a copy?
"If you don't wish to sell the map, then I understand."
Okay, no, we'll sell it. We'll sell it.
For coinage and information.
Coinage and information, yes.
Okay, then. And how much are you asking for the map? Bartleby, roll commerce for me, please. Were you poised?
I was about to ask if I could roll.
Can I roll it as well?
Hengist by now would have put his coin purse back on his belt because he's clearly worked out that he doesn't need to pay out any money for it.
And the other thing is, any one person, please. Can you decide who it is between yourself and probably the person with the highest roll? Could you roll the person with the highest needs to roll an insight roll for me, please.
Mine's a 38.
31. So it's not me.
Can anybody beat a 38?
Zaf?
I probably wouldn't be the one talking.
I can do 60.
Modest.
Oh my god.
No, actually, I can do 69.
Oh, okay.
Insight,
okay.
yeah.
Surprisingly, so can I.
Yeah. Okay, you do it then.
What? I mean,
yes,
can't
I got what you meant. I don't need it. I don't need to be explained. Okay, so
I need your insight roll.
Oh, well, you need it now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Boom.
Okay. There's two things that's coming out of this conversation. Bartleby, you don't think this map is worth anything. It seems very strange that he's actually willing to pay for the map. It's not of some great price or of quality or anything like that. And Gulliver, you notice as this conversation is progressing that since you've seen the map, Sylvester's tone has somewhat changed, and he's almost like wanting it.
Can is the map within reaching distance?
No, he's got it now. So, how much are you selling the map for?
I think we're going to we're going to see whether or not anybody else is interested in it as well, and then see what sort of offers we get for it, and then we might come back to you. And Gulliver will hold out his hand for the map.
That is fine. He picks it up, he hands it to you and says, no payment, no information. Bartleby, can you roll your either your commerce or your customs? I don't care which one. Oh, wow. Critical roll.
I know about money.
Yeah. You actually know that there is no other place in Lindowe that deals with scribes and maps. Some of the orders and some of the orders, either sorcery thesis, might have writers and be able to do literacy, but Sylvester's is the only cartographer or scribe writing of this sort of like degree in Lindowe.
Why don't you have a map of the slums? It looks like you've got maps of everything here. You've got loads of maps. But you live in Lindowe, so it would be quite easy for you just to go out and map it. Why don't you have a map of the slums?
Do you wish to sell your map for information or not? This is not 20 questions, young boy.
That's true. How about we start off and offer how does 6,000 silver sound, Sylvester?
6,000 for a map?
Yes, my Tin Man here needs new armor.
Yes. And I would need a new brain to give you that much.
It is one of the kind. Bartleby says that you're the only cartographer in Lindowe, and you don't have a copy of this.
Let's say 100 silver pieces of information.
I mean, you did learn something about commerce, right?
Yeah, and I was hoping that he'd want it more.
Now's your chance.
Sylvester, neither of our bids here of money are worth this map. I'm curious why you would want this map so much. Even 100 silver worth. It's a scrap of parchment. You said it yourself, it's poorly made.
And you've probably just looked at it. You probably could make a copy of it just from memory now.
I am interested in the map. My reasons are my own. If you wish to haggle with him, then you have a choice. You can either use your commerce roll, or you can roll your influence roll. It's completely up to you. And then haggling happens as an opposed roll between you and the other person. So if you win, I have here written down the maximum price he will actually give you. Okay, so if you win the opposed roll, then he gives you that maximum price. If he wins the opposed roll, okay, then you get what his initial reaction was. He's not going to give you 6,000 silver pieces, just so you know.
Just highballing for no reason. If it worked, though, that would have been a beautiful moment. We would have had so much armor money.
We would have done.
I do like the way you use the term "we" there.
Gulliver's going to say to him, "Can you just give us one moment, please?" And he's going to motion to the others to come to the back of the shop where we can just have a quick
front of the shop
where we can just have a quick discussion about it.
Yeah, it's just
say
you go to the back, and he says, "Is there a dog in here?"
Yep. That's where I am. I'm at the front of the shop still. I'm just standing up there with Juno this whole time. Probably got my hammer like slung over my shoulders.
If it makes a mess, you're in trouble.
Do we want to keep the map?
I don't know. I feel concerned as to why this individual would want this, especially since we found it near the coffer.
That is true. And surely we would need a copy, at least a copy of the map to find the location that he's going to tell us
we
about.
Can get that. Maybe we can get that from the information, Hengist.
But he wants the map for it.
Maybe we can get money plus the location of whereabouts in the slums it is. And then, do we need the map anymore? Unless it's magical.
Or it could have... because obviously Hengist can't read. He doesn't know what the words say, unless... or if there's any other words and that sort of thing. He said there could be... If it's, as you mentioned, a secret society, they might have passwords and things to get into the... to get in. Would those be written on the
remember
map?
those words. We need to make a decision. What do you think?
At this point, Aaron will kind of lean forward and hasn't spoken this whole time and lean forward and be like, if I may, what if the actual map is the password?
Well, we need to hand it over to somebody.
It's possible. Just saying it's an option. If we get there and they're like, your invitation, please. And
But how would we get?
We sold it.
But how would we get there? How would we find it if we didn't have the map?
I am an old man. I have very few years left on this world. Please make your mind up before I enter my coffin.
Are there any other customers around here?
No.
Then I'm going to just ignore him completely.
We could offer for him to make a copy of the map and give us the information.
I've already asked that. He's not going to do that. He wants the map, or he doesn't want the map.
I say we only offer him money for the information. We don't need to sell the map, and we don't want to give away the map for information. Let's just offer him some money, like a regular transaction in a shop. He's being weird, and I don't trust it. Shops, I know a thing or two about commerce, I'd like to say, and the shops are not normally ran like this in my neighborhood. I don't trust him.
Okay, right.
So we would just offer him money for the information about the map and keep the map then.
Yeah.
Is everyone
Seems
happy
like
with
it would
that?
I don't think it's going to work.
Because he's listening into you.
I make sure that I don't make any effort to conceal how much I don't trust him out loud.
Okay, yeah.
Volume is one level.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to turn around and Gulliver's going to go up to the desk and he's going to say, Master McHoons, we've decided that the map isn't for sale anymore, but we would like your help still of whereabouts in Lindowe the map shows, for which we are willing to pay.
You have some intelligence spread between the four of you, mostly within 2 people. However, I'm willing to strike a bargain with you. Since it seems that we are of a bargaining type, he looks up and looks at you, Bartleby, and then looks back down again. You give me money, I provide you information. Sell me the map now, and you will get full price. Sell it later, and you get half.
We'd like the information then, please.
Would you also like to know, young man, how much full price is?
Well, I think we would need to know that, because otherwise we wouldn't know how much half was.
I will give you as much information as you give me coinage. That seems fair.
It does. I want to put 30 silver coins, counting them out one by one, onto his table, not on any parchment or anything.
He sort of like looks at the 30 and looks at you and says, "The door is behind you."
Hengist will ask his purse will match the 30 silver coins with the Bartleby put down.
So how much is there now? 60?
60.
Aaron will walk forward and set down 30 as well.
90. Okay, so
Kind of nod to Bartleby and Hengist as he
Gulliver
step back.
will take out his purse from his tunic, then look at Hengist and just turn away slightly so that he can't see, and sort of like open it up, and he'll put 10 down.
Hengist will just roll his eyes because he knows, but Gulliver has a lot more than he's pretending that he does.
okay. Time is fleeting. And before madness takes control of me, and I don't want you to wait any longer in my shop, I will give you 100 silver pieces worth of information. And although you do not know this is probably the best 100 silver pieces of information you are going to receive today. You need to seek out someone. There is a girl, a beggar, somewhat of a gutter snipe. Her name is Giselle, and you'll find her here in Lindowe. However, she's an expert, a real expert, of the areas of the slums. She knows it like the back of my hand. Seek her out. She will be able to take you to the location on the map.
Wait, how well does she know the back of his hand?
Without
Yeah.
any question.
Thank you, Master McHoons. We will sure to come and see you if we decide that we want to sell the map.
Oh, and before you go, my offer for the map before you leave the shop is 500 silver pieces.
Is that before half?
No,
After half?
that's before half, yes. So if you bring it back
Alright.
later on, he'll only give you 250.
Thank you very much. Your offer's most kind, and we will certainly come and see you if we decide to sell it.
Hengist walked out just like looking at his chest, because that would almost like be his chest piece.
Gulliver will put the map in his tunic.
Okay. And he Sylvester says to you as you leave, "Don't forget to close the door."
We will do. Thank you very much. Right.
I don't
Okay.
like that man.
He did seem a bit weird, didn't he? He was very interested in the map.
He boils my blood.
500 silver pieces.
That's not right. It's not worth that much. There's something wrong with him. I don't like him.
Perhaps
Why did he want
perhaps
it,
the
though?
perhaps the map is not worth 500 silver pieces, but what the map would lead to, or is to do with, is worth that amount of money.
But he would have just recognised the location.
I think we should go straight there in case he decides to go himself.
I think. Bartleby, can you remember when we got the coffer?
Mm-hmm.
And you asked Amaryl whether or not the coffer was magical.
Yeah. I remember that moment. I did the prayer of the arms.
Can you do the same with the map?
I might be able to. You know what? Let's get to an area where I can do the prayer. I need to move my arms a lot to illuminate. And it's a little cramped right in front of his shop. Presuming they're somewhere comfortable.
Yeah, you can.
Let's go back to the hairy hobgoblin and use your room.
My room?
Your lodgings, yeah.
Your lodgings.
Oh, I thought I'd been sleeping at church.
Bartleby doesn't sleep at the hairy hobgoblin.
All right. Well, we can use my room. We can use my room in the hairy hobgoblin.
All
and
right.
then that'll be out of the way of prying eyes.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. So I'll go up to Gully's bedroom. And presuming we're there, can I roll?
Yes, go for it.
Gully will put the map on his bed, but then he's going to take out his throwing stone, his magical one, and he's going to put it next to the map, and also his shriveled bird hand as well.
Yeah,
and put that next to it.
So Bartleby, you start to summon your prayer up from Amriel to sort of like I presume this is which site that is coming off.
Correct.
Yeah. So, and you start muttering your prayer, and obviously it's a little bit strange in Gulliver's bedroom. So that doesn't come off with that one. So you'll lose a magic point, but you can roll it again as your prayer continues.
Actually, I'd like to stop as my arms whack into the walls and say, okay, guys, I know we wanted to do it in here because, prying eyes and whatnot, but this is too cramped. It's too cramped. Let's try it somewhere else.
Where else are we trying?
Perhaps by the tree that
yes, the tree
Aaron was training by. That's a nice open area.
It is a tranquil location. I would recommend.
Huzzah! Let's go out to the tree then.
Come on!
We're outside people.
This is going to be so funny if this doesn't work. No, it's not the tree. Let's go somewhere.
He's going to put everything back in his tunic and walk out to the tree. And once he's out of the tree again, he's going to lay down the map and his throwing stone and his shriveled up bird claw next to it and say, "Try again then, Bartleby."
Okay. Amriel, give me your light to see what I can illuminate.
Oh, and it works. Yeah.
I told you.
You sort of like look down at the map using almost like through Amriel's eyes, and you can see before you this strange map that seems to be done on a piece of parchment. There's no magic coming off it at all.
That build up, you see the map. Oh.
And I take quite a while to finally give them this information, because it's just, how do you put that after all this walking around we did?
Yeah.
So
you turn around to Gulliver and say, "Unfortunately, your chicken foot made a mess of everything."
I like your chicken foot, but in this case...
That was from Lady Mika, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gave it to me.
Wait, if I still have my prayer open, that's how prayers work. And looking at that chicken feet and the little doodads that Gully has, do I see any magic popping from them? Or would I have to roll again? Magic feet.
No, but I'm going to send it to... Have you got your phone out?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Amriel sends text messages.
She's very
bluebirds are a thing of the past.
Snapchat. She's sending him Snapchat.
I just wish my goddess would stop sending me inappropriate Snapchats.
Yeah.
My wife is starting to ask questions of what this goddess is doing.
Priest life. I'm not.
It's no longer thug life. It's hashtag priest life.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because I'm a, what am I, like an initiate? I want to say I'm an initiate. Well, that too. Yeah, I'm not a full like acolyte or high priest or anything. I'm just.
Did you get the message?
Oh yes, it did. I was too busy talking about it. Ooh. Fanciness. Those are intricate there, Gully. And that's all I have.
I knew my stone was magical.
Very much indeed.
I killed a giant scorpion with it. It never misses giant scorpions, never.
I'm so tempted to make one climb over the the wall just now, just to see Gulliver go, "Whoa," and it misses. But knowing my luck, you would chuck it and you would get sort of like a critical, and it would just
kill it dead.
Yeah,
never misses. Gulliver's going to take his belongings and he's going to stick them back in his tunic along with the map.
Okay. So
the only clue that we have is Giselle.
Didn't he hit Briggs in the back of the head with it or something? No, he hit Hengist.
I hit Ben.
Hit Ben.
Oh, that's right. You hit Ben. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
but I
Ben
didn't kill him because Dominic did instead.
Hey, I wasn't the first person to hit him in the head. Let's just put that
this is the first time Hengist has seen that, and he sort of quickly snaps on and goes, Dominic killed Ben?
No, it's actually interesting, because I think I'm right here. Apart from Dominic, nobody actually saw that. All Gulliver and Bartleby even know was that Dominic brought him out. I think
pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
They walked. Yeah. I think either I brought him out or they walked in after the beast fell and everything was done.
Yeah,
and I'm just sitting there looking at him like, oh shit.
Yeah, there was a huge amount of blood and grey matter on Dominic's shaft of his axe, but apart from that, and if you put the shaft of the axe into Ben's head, it actually, it mirrored the delve.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. So what would you like to do, guys?
I feel that as the map has no magical properties, that our only option now is to try and find this beggar Giselle.
Indeed. I guess we just may as well just start looking and talking to various young beggar gutter snipes.
Okay, yeah, that should be pretty easy. I grew up on the streets, back in where I used to live, and I'm pretty good at working out where the certain areas are and where you'll find all the beggars, and I could even ask questions and see whether or not anybody's actually heard of this Giselle.
So Gulliver, if you would like to roll your streetwise roll, because
thank you.
I'm having a think. I don't know, but I'm just sort of like guessing that you might have one somewhere.
Maybe. Who knows?
Would we benefit from multiple street?
Get sick.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. There is a place. There's a marketplace in Lindowe where the majority of beggars hang out, and as you're walking out of the hairy hobgoblin, or at some point, Basil does hear you mention the word Giselle, and Giselle's quite well known. And he gives you a brief description of her. He sort of like says she's about this height, short, dark, spiky hair, almost looks like a boy, but is definitely a girl. About 16 years old, not quite an adult yet.
Okay.
And so you using Bartleby's knowledge of Lindowe and Gulliver's knowledge of where people may hang out, you set forth along the streets, and you eventually come to my favourite road that I use for everything, because I can't be bothered to make another road. And you come across an interesting sight. And I've put your characters on already.
Oh.
Can you see everything?
I will be once I've zoomed out. Yes, I can.
Oh, it's not letting me zoom out for some reason.
No, I think I'm already zoomed right the way out. It's
Oh no, there we go. It is now. There we go.
So as you walk down the street, this is quite a bustly place, and you suddenly notice ahead of you there's almost like a crowd forming. And just to let you know, I've put the first ring of the crowd on, but there's probably another layer of people, or 2 layers of people before this. But you can see that at the front of this seems to be a small girl that fits Giselle's description. And what appears to be happening, she almost like has a begging bowl in front of her, and she now has in her hand what appears to be a pouch of what you assume was silver pieces. And as you approach her, these are the sort of like the calls, the voices that you hear. You sort of like hear people saying, "I'm sure she took it from your belt pouch, sir. She is a young gutter snipe. Why would you give so much?" And the young girl is saying, No, sir. It fell from his pouch into my bowl. And the women are sort of like going, "Oh, no, young child, that is not likely, isn't it? You are somewhat of a beggar. Why would he give you so much?" And the girl saying, "But if it fell into my bowl, it's mine. It's mine." And one of the other merchants says, I think this is probably a case for the city guards to take this beggar away.
Hengist will
And
would like to push his way through the crowd, so it's like get near the front.
And before we do anything, that is going to be the first point that we have a quick break for the night. We're going to have a quick 10-minute break, and then it gives you a chance to have a think what you would like to do, and we will come back and see what happens with this young gutter snipe and the merchants, and how the party actually copes with this rather delicate situation after such interesting discussion with Sylvester McHoon. Okay, we will be back in 10 minutes. So please do not go away, or if you do go away, come back. We'll see you in 10.